Yo, what you telling me? Welcome to Bag of Chat.
Bag of chat, back again. You done all the thing, you get me? Me, Daniel Wallace, I'm air.
And we got me, Erwan, Gaudin, and today's topic is about creativity. And we got our guest today. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Pembe Tokluhsn.
And today we're going to be talking about her perspective on creativity, what she does in her career, and how
She got there?
and how she got there.
Tell us a bit about yourself and what you do, man, first of all, man.
So thank you for having me, first of all. So I would say I'm a multidisciplinary backstage creative. I specialise in audio engineering, stage management, tour management, production work, anything backstage. That's kind of one side of what I do. And then I also do a lot of youth work, so in Hackney and all around London.
Okay. So what about, where did you grow up? What was before you got into your creativity, yeah, and you done your backstage stuff and the youth work in London, like, how did you get there? Like, tell us a bit how you got to that, where you got to.
So I grew up in Hackney in Shakespeare Walk, and I was there for around 16 years, and it was a very fun, interesting 16 years of my life.
Okay.
I won't go into too much detail of my past, but I had my times, and I kind of was a rebellious young person, and I think I had to learn the hard way. So I always wanted to get into music or get into sports. I was just kind of interested in those things. I played saxophone from a young age. I played steel pans.
So it seems like you've always been a creative person.
Yeah, I've always kind of been interested in that and sporty. So I kind of got into music by studying music production and business. And I was the only female out of 59 guys on this course. So I studied music production and business, and then I went on to work in a venue as a production and technical associate for a while, and then became the production and technical manager. And I was there, and in that time I kind of met a lot of people and got a lot of gigs and kind of started making my own networks. And network is a really important thing, network is your net worth. It's not about what you got in your bank to me. It's really about who you know, not what you know. So I just kind of started working quite hard. I started doing little things that I didn't even want to do, coffee runs, tea runs, making cheese platters for people, travelling around England, I was Jeremy Corbyn's stage manager for a bit. I've done FIFA, I've done, different festivals. I've done a lot of different gigs and different roles. And I just kind of continued at it, and it then made me want to develop a women and non-binary production company that recognises people working backstage, behind the scenes, behind the screens, and behind the lens. That's kind of my journey in a way.
Alright, so it sounds like a very interesting and adventurous. You've been on seems like a very exciting adventure you've been on. You're still going on it, man.
So tell me, Pembe, what is your biggest accomplishment so far?
I don't know, I'm a bit hard on myself. I'm always like trying to look for the next thing. I don't really go, yeah, you've done well. I think I should take a moment to do that more. But I'd say, it's all, more than anything, it's nice getting paid, to do your stuff. But I'd say more than anything, it's the events that I've done over the years that have kind of raised the money for young people that have, lost their lives.
Okay.
I think if there's anything that's been the most rewarding thing, I'd say it's that. But I've done some interesting things like FIFA, and I've travelled around England with Jeremy Corbyn and tour for JC 4PM. So yeah, I've got some interesting things that I've done.
Okay. How would you describe a creative person in society?
I think a creative person in society is probably someone who's full of a lot of imagination and fantasy. I think that really helps with defining kind of, that there's no limits to what you want to create, you know. I think the creative sector opens up spaces for people that might not be open through other sectors. You know, it allows you to be free in whatever art form or whatever creative practice that is that you have for yourself. You know what I mean?
Erwan, anything you want to add?
In terms of being creative, like what do you do that keeps you motivated to do this, to do your work? Like, what do you do to motivate yourself?
What do I do to motivate myself? I think I get up and I get on with it, you know. I think you just gotta get up and get on with it. I know that there's always bigger and better things. I think it's all about what you put is what you get, you know.
How do you get up? How do you motivate yourself?
How do I get up? Like, there's...
Like, cause some people, like, they think about getting up, but, like...
And you know what? There's days like that though. Every day is not a rainbow. You know what I mean? Like
It's
every
just all
day.
about your willpower. Isn't
It's
it?
all about willpower. You know, at the end of the day, you can either sit around and feel sorry for yourself, you know, or you can get up and do something about it. And that's what motivates me, to be honest. You know, I know where I want to get to in life, so it kind of, for me, there's no time to feel sorry for yourself. And you get to a certain age, and it's like, you know what? You can't say to the people that you need to pay your rent, you know, you can't say to your landlords, oh sorry, I felt bad this week, I can't pay my rent. Because although, you know, feeling bad is, you know, you feel bad and you have up and down days, you have to get up and get on with it, especially when you're a freelancer. I guess being a freelancer motivates me as well. I work for myself a lot of the time. You know, I like to have my own contracts. I've got my own company now, you know, so...
And what is your own company?
So, like I was saying earlier, so our Pembe Tokluhsn is a women and non-binary production company recognising women and non-binary people working behind the scenes, screens and lens. So that's people working behind, when I say behind the scenes, that could be like backstage, stage management, production roles. If I'm saying behind the screens, that could be like social media people, web developers, you know, graphic designers, or behind the lens, which are like videographers and photographers. And for me, the reason why I'm kind of creating this company is because there isn't enough people in these roles. These roles are kind of covered by a lot of usually white cis men, and that's kind of what it's dominated by. But if you're showing the younger generation and the young women out there that there are these career paths available for them, then it opens up a new channel. It's like construction. In construction, it's predominantly men. But if there was more women that were visible and people could see that, then there would be more women in those roles. You know, British Gas put out a big thing for gas engineers, for women, because there isn't enough women in certain roles. You know, they're very male-dominated roles. The world's only changing very newly. And the audio industry is only made up of 5 to 7% of women. There isn't a lot of women in the audio industry.
So it seems like you're doing a big, you're doing a lot right now, man. Trying to open doors for your female compadres. Like, yeah, man, I rate that still, man. So have you got any female that you looked up to as a creative person? Like, now you're doing your thing, and was there anyone come out and say, "Rah, like that woman there, she's a boss. That I like the way she does that thing. I want to be like her, or I want to aspire to be on that sort of that path there or that road there." Like someone.
To be honest, it wasn't that somebody inspired me. It was more so that it inspired me more that there wasn't enough women in them roles.
Okay.
So going into college and knowing that I was the only woman there, I came out with the highest grade. I came out with double distinction star.
Yeah.
You know, I went on to work in that field. Whenever I'd go to a show, they'd always say, "Where's the sound man?" And I'd be like, "Hi, I'm the sound woman.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you."
Yeah.
You know, so it's just a funny thing for me. You know, for me, it's like, no, I need to challenge what's out there in society, because there are a lot of women that would like to break out into these roles, but they don't get that chance. So for me, I just motivate myself with the fact that I know that there isn't enough women out there doing this.
That's good, man. Like, so you keep your drive going, just doing it for other people. Like, and a lot of people ain't got the will to get up. Like, they ain't got the will or the don't have desire. Like, they ain't getting like something out of it for themselves, like physically. Most people they're not really spending no time with that. So yeah, man, good on you for that one, man. Anything on that?
Yeah, I do. What is the biggest opposing force that you've encountered that has like hindered you from continue your journey?
I think the one for me is just the fact that it's just a very male dominated industry. So when you're there, you've got to be able to have thick skin. There's a lot of comments that people make. There's a lot of remarks and things that people might think that they're doing is appropriate, when it's not. There's people that'll make comments, even something as little as, oh, don't worry, I'll carry that speaker. It's like, don't worry, I'll carry the speaker and I'll carry you. So it's fine, and I think that for me has always been a bit like, or like when I come into the venue and they assume that it's the sound man, or you do a show and you're the production manager and someone turns up and they're like, yeah, I just want to speak to the production manager. I'm like, yeah, hello.
How do you overcome the barriers then?
You just get on with it. You got to have thick skin. You've got to just be able to, you can either break and crumble or you can carry on. It's like whatever industry as well in many ways. You can be a chef. Chefs get it hard as well.
Yeah.
You could be on a construction site. They get it hard. Youth workers, we get it hard as well,
Yeah.
So it's not, I think in every industry it's hardship, but you got to find your way through it. If you love what you're doing, at the end of the day, you'll stick at it.
Or do you think you've always had thick skin, or was that something you've learned throughout your life?
No, I think I've always had thick skin. I'm not gonna lie. But I think I've always been built a bit different. So I think I always knew I was gonna do something. I guess I didn't know I was gonna be doing what I'm doing now, but I've always had thick skin in the sense of, if I fall, I'll still get back up. If I drop off that bike, I'm still getting back on the bike. If I drop off that wall, I'm still gonna drop off that wall. You know what I mean? So you gotta have thick skin. Yeah, I've always been quite resilient.
That never die attitude.
Mm.
Never giving up.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's good. What impact do you think your roles had on any young female up and coming creative?
I think it's had miniature impacts at this stage, in different ways. I've had young black girls and women of colour that I've kind of trained in different roles or given the chance to kind of come to events with me, be stage managers, be a part of the crew, learn things, and that's on a smaller scale at the moment. But that, as P-Top Productions grows, I'm hoping to help thousands and millions of people around the world, to get into those roles, offer mentorship through P-Top Productions mentorship scheme, with older people that have been in those roles for many years, showing those younger people how to get through. So yeah, the journey's still going on. I think I'm impacting people little by little, but that's still rewarding.
I think you might be from hearing what you've been doing all the work, I think you might be impacting people more than you know it, and you could be influencing more creative people more than you know. I don't think you're the sort of person to take credit. You take less credit than you probably deserve.
Yeah, probably.
But which is a good thing. That shows humbleness. So I like that. I do like that. Anything, Erwan?
Yeah. If you actually no, before you started your, like going into production and stuff, was there anything that you wanted to be at something else? Or was this always your
Nah, I didn't even know production management and stuff like that was a role, or stage management was a role. When I was young, I was into athletics, I was into football. I thought I was going to be like the fastest in the world at 100 meters. I thought I was going to be an athlete, you know what I mean? So I wanted to get into being a pro athlete or getting into PT. But there's certain circumstances that when I went to apply for, sports, it didn't allow me to. So I was like, okay, cool, let me see, what else can I do? And then I think music and production work and all of that was always calling me in a different way.
thing. So, I don't know, as a creative person, I don't know, just tell me a bit, because I do a bit of writing and a bit of painting here and there, like, yeah. And sometimes the pressures of life can kind of clog up your creativity, and how do you keep your creativity flowing yourself?
You know, for me, I've got, you know, everyone gets like writer's block, creative block, you know, you get blocked, everyone gets blocked. I think you've got to allow yourself to have those blocks. If I'm in those block moments, and I'm in those block moments, you've got to accept the emotions that you're going through, you know, and not push yourself too much. Sometimes you might make the best of things in those moments as well, you know, but I think you got to just do things when you're enjoying it, you know. Don't do something when you're not enjoying it, because then you're going to start turning kind of resentful towards that thing that you're doing. You're just going to avoid doing that. It's like, oh, that painting again.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I try to discipline myself a little bit in that way.
Okay, all right. In one sentence here, as a creative person, what would you say is your biggest achievement so far? Or maybe not one sentence, you're going to elaborate a bit more, but if you had one word you can to express your biggest achievement so far, what would you say?
I don't know. I don't know. My biggest achievement, getting out the ends. I'm not out yet, but I'm out the ends. You know what I mean? And I think, yeah, that's my greatest achievement. Like, I love my ends. Don't get twisted. I love my ends, but like in the sense of just getting out of that mentality, you know. I think that's my biggest achievement. Just getting out that mentality that I had, and now having a different one that's more productive and good for me.
What do you have? Do you have any advice for people who are following your footsteps?
Any advice? Just keep persevering. You know what I mean? Keep trying. Like, every day is a new day. If today's a bad day, tomorrow's a new day. You know what I mean? You don't have to make every day a bad day. You know, and try and have goals. Try and say, I want to get to this. You know, manifest what you're trying to get to. If you're saying to yourself, I want to get a driving license, get the driving license, you know? Or if you want to get that job, get that job. You know, if you want to do that thing, do that thing. But manifest it. You know, I see white Range Rovers every day. You won't see me pull up in one soon. Don't worry. Remember that. Remember this podcast. White Range Rover. I'm going to pull up in one soon.
Yeah.
But, you know, yeah, manifest it and don't be hard on yourself.
Alright.
Well, do you consider yourself as a creative person?
Yeah, I guess I'm a creative person. I produce shows. I can produce music, but I hate production. But, you know, I'll do it. I produce work in different ways, you know, and I'm always imagining. I'm a generator, you know, I generate a lot, so, yeah.
And what exactly does creativity mean to you?
Creativity means just being able to express yourself freely, you know, and just...
Express yourself.
Yeah, just express yourself, you know what I mean? That's it.
Express yourself.
That song used to play all the time in primary when you come to the hall and just play.
Sorry, just remember that tune that's after this. Yeah, man. Alright, so we're gonna any more questions you wanna ask Pembe? Anything you wanna add, Pembe? For anyone listening out there?
Anyone listening out there, I think, you know, like I said, don't be hard on yourself, love yourself, and, you know, keep trying. Every day is a new day, you know, every day is a new day, and, yeah. And you know what, actually, what I would like to say is, if you are a woman out there, or a non-binary person, and you work backstage, behind the scenes, behind the screens, or behind the lens, check out Pembe Tokluhsn.
Yeah, that is thing. Yeah.
Put that in it.
I know.
No.
I thought, you know what? I just started away my right. But put that in.
Yeah. So yes, that was our guest Pembe. Just finishing off there with a little advertisement of a little TikTok.
Pembe Tok.
So yes, we're gonna wrap.
Bag of chat.
Bag of chat. What's we got? A bag of chat. Yeah, me, Daniel Wallace, signing out. My co-host,
Erwan, Gaudin.
and we're saying peace till next time.
Next time, bye.
That was good. That was good, girl.